All right, too many of you are using these terms interchangeably, and we need to get that right. Thanks, guys, for joining me so much today. Before I get started on today's topic, if you're enjoying the message and want updates when I post videos delivered directly to your inbox, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you have questions on the topic, be sure to put them in the comments below. Let me know if you've raised capital before, if you've raised any of these types of capital before. I'd love to hear how you went about it and maybe even interview you for some future segments. Today, I want to clarify some misused startup funding terms that people are sort of using interchangeably when they talk about startup funding. And so we're going to talk about three. We're going to start out with just the overall term of capital, right? When you're raising capital, what are you raising, right? So I have a strategic and capital advisory firm called the Harold Lewis Group. And when we help companies raise capital, we're helping them raise funds in order to use in the growth of their business. And that's really what capital is. It's money, folks. It's money in your business's pockets that you can use for a variety of uses to grow your business and get to the next level. That's what capital is. Now, within the overarching term of capital, there are two major classes of capital that most businesses raise, and those are equity or debt. And a lot of people are sort of interchanging these terms, venture capital, venture debt, and they're using them in the same context. And when you're raising capital, you should be really specific about the type of capital that you're seeking. Now, some of you are going to say, well, Jonathan, I just want capital. I don't care if it's debt. I don't care if it's in exchange for equity. Well, yeah, you do, because the type of capital you go after, the type of investor or lender that you go after to work with, depends on the type of capital that you can best put to use and is best for your business. So within capital, again, those two major groups, equity and debt. And so first, we're going to start out with equity. When you're raising equity capital or equity funding, you are typically giving up shares in your company in exchange for the investor to take an ownership stake in what you are doing. So equity and capital are not interchangeable terms. Capital is the larger, sort of higher term, and equity is a type of capital that you can go out and raise. Again, you're giving up shares in exchange for an investor to put money in your business, and then they become a co-owner with you. Now, when you raise debt capital, you're getting loans of some type from a lender, and sometimes investors make those, but let's just keep it separate and think about debt being specifically from lenders. So when you say you're raising venture debt, you're getting loans from investors or lenders who are willing to put money into your business in exchange for not equity or shares in the business, but rather they're doing that in exchange for the ability to get paid back over time via principal and interest payments. So let's stop using these terms across the board and in generic purposes. Let's think about them in the right context. And when we're asking investors or lenders for money, let's use them in the right context instead of confusing the ideas. The way you decide about whether you need to raise equity or debt depends on a whole lot of other things. I've done a video on that in the past before, so I'm not going to reiterate too much on that today. But the short answer is you've got to decide, do you want to give up shares in your company by going the equity route? Or do you want to take out a loan on the business's name by going the debt route? Now, whichever route you go, both comes with its own group of pros and cons, and it's something you should not weigh lightly. I highly recommend at least working with a consultant like myself who understands both types of capital, who understands how to put both types of capital to the best use, who knows which type of companies like to extend equity capital and which like to extend debt capital, what industry they like, all these factors. When you work with a consultant that's done this for a long, long time like myself, having raised over $500 million for companies, it goes a long way toward making the process a whole lot easier. So I hope that information helps you. Until next time, I'll see you later.